Hey JJ, do we know about Rui and his status yet with the ankle?
He's out.
So, how has that progressed, and is it something where you feel like he's getting closer?
Yeah. We're hoping to have him back this week at some point.
Okay, coming off of that trip, obviously you get the results that you were looking for. How did you evaluate that in context with the rest of the season? Like the good home start, that tough long trip. Essentially, where do you feel like you're at coming off of that trip overall?
Feel very confident with our late game execution. Starting to feel a little more confident with our transition defense. Believe in this 5-game winning streak. We're, at least my staff told me this. We were number 1 in offensive rating and number 16 in defensive rating. So we're not last. That's an improvement. Progress. Pretty excited about that. Yeah.
That's good. What have you seen from Utah?
I mean, they have some really good players. Will runs a lot of really good action for their main guys. There's a lot of stuff that happens off ball that can be a little different. Similar to Wembanyama with our smalls having to guard the screener and the bigs having to guard the guy getting the screen. So our stuff with Markkanen and with Collins tonight is going to be big. Like any game, we gotta get back on defense. And then with Will, they've always been this way. He's really emphasized crashing the glass, and they're at the top of the league in crash rate. They're I think 7th in offensive rebounding percentage, and it's been a big point of discussion in the last few days for our team. We've emphasized starting our defensive possessions better with sprinting back and communicating on our transition defense and getting our defense set. And we've got to do a better job of finishing possessions and being physical with our box outs, and that's going to be tested tonight for sure.
JJ, got 2 for you, but kind of piggybacking off what you were saying with the transition defense. I think you guys were bottom 4 in multiple categories before the 5-game win streak. Now you guys are more middle of the pack.
We're not last.
Not last, exactly. Are you seeing, obviously with small samples, it can be missed shots here, there, that can impact the actual numbers, but process-wise, how do you like the process of the transition defense over the last few games?
Yeah, I think when you watch it, the intent to communicate really stands out. You can visually see guys pointing, guys talking, guys reacting to that, getting matched up. We've talked a lot about just like we really had an issue with this once or twice a game for the first 8 games where we've said no man behind. We've got guys back, and we're not guarding our man in transition. We can't just let somebody run by us and get a layup or dunk, and we've gotten better with that. I think the intent to sprint back is improving as well.
And I asked you a version of this question after the last road trip. You said that you learned from that trip that you're a masochist, and you were looking forward to the challenges after the losing streak, I guess. What did you learn about yourself as a coach after, I guess, in the midst of this 5-game win streak?
I think it's more general. I think I'm just learning something new every day, and sometimes it's basketball related, sometimes it's coaching related, sometimes it's just something about myself. It's really fascinating, to be honest with you. I don't want to be too philosophical, but the one thing I was having a conversation with my mindset coach yesterday. We were talking about just the season in general, and I think as a player, I always looked at each game, each shot as like a singular event, and as a coach, it feels like it's all one event. The entire season is one event. And give you an example, like as a player, you do your prep, you do your routine, you get ready to perform, you get ready to compete, and those are your 2 markers. How am I performing? How am I helping my team? And did we win or lose? And as a coach, win or lose, you're constantly thinking about how do we improve? And that's like a long singular event that takes place. I like winning, I like that feeling, but the second the game ends, you know, your first thoughts as a coach are always like, oh, I could have done that better. I could have been better here. So the self-improvement piece has been awesome.
Two questions, just a house cleaning question. Cam and Dalton, will they start tonight for you?
When does that do?
30 Brad.
Yeah, they'll start.
Okay. And with Cam back, that tightens things up a little bit with kind of your guard rotation, but do you want to reward Max still for kind of what he did, the games Cam missed, and try to still figure out ways to use both of them instead of one or the other?
Well, Max will play tonight, obviously. He'll be in the rotation. And again, this is all fluid. And he certainly had our trust and belief when the season started. We didn't lose any belief or trust in him, but we ultimately had to make a decision to stick with that 9-man rotation and kind of give Cam an opportunity with the starting group, and Cam has done well. You know, we're going to have, when we're whole and healthy, we'll have some tough decisions, but you know, we believe in Max for sure. We want him on the court.
JJ, from a macro level, I think last year's club ran about 44 off-ball screens or handoffs a game, and now you're running about 73. So from a macro level, what is it that you believe in that, with the guys getting on the move? And then I think LeBron's up about 75% of the times where he's getting a chance on the move. What does specifically that do for LeBron on the micro level?
The big thing for me is there's a bunch of different ways to play offense. If you have a team that can consistently break defenders down and touch the paint and get 2 on the ball, or if you have a player like a Luka who can consistently get 2 on the ball, you can in some ways afford to not run a ton of off-ball action and dribble handoffs. I think with our personnel, the best way for us to shift the defense and create a little bit of confusion and chaos is to not play stagnant and to utilize screening, to utilize dribble handoffs. Sometimes that's, you know, AD is the handler with a small. Sometimes the off-ball screen becomes like a pin DHO for LeBron, or a flip screen to a DHO. And sometimes it's just the off-ball stuff. But that for us has been really good. I don't know the exact numbers as of today, but I know not just volume-wise, but I know points per possession, we're towards the top of the league in both those things. And it's been good for us. And I think conceptually that works for our team.
JJ, I think it was a week ago that Jackson had the ankle turn, and the timeline was 1 to 2 weeks. I'm just curious, any update there on the progress? Do you think there's a chance you could return prior to the 2-week mark?
I don't even know what the 2-week mark is, Dave.
A week from today.
A week from today?
It's 1 week. after
Okay,
that.
gotcha. He's progressing well. He was able to do some stuff on the court. I think the next step for him is probably just, he was really good with linear. It's more just all the other movement stuff that he's got to continue to build up his strength. Again, like Rui, we're hoping to have him back at some point this week, but we expect him to fit within that time period in 2 weeks.
Hey JJ, obviously we've seen Dalton shooting, but he said even before the season started that one of his goals is to be an all-around player. How have you seen him progress so far in the non-shooting aspects of his game?
I knew this from watching him at Tennessee. He's a phenomenal cutter. He's got a really good feel for not just cutting when he's supposed to cut, but organic cutting. Meaning we're running action for him and he's cutting and getting. That's not what I mean. I mean he has a really good feel for, his guy turns his back, he's going to back cut him. the slip screen stuff. He's got really good feel for that. I think he's been one of our best guys with the attention to detail of corner crashing. He's, you know, similar to Max Christie the other night, who had 2 big ones in the second half in New Orleans. Like he's made some big plays for us with his corner crashing. I think he's got the size and the toughness to be a really good defensive rebounder. I don't think he's there yet. And I think he's got the size and toughness to be a solid defender. I don't think he's there yet, but you know, he wants to be great. We have like a really strong belief in him that he's going to turn out to be a great player in this league.
Hi JJ. You've been attempting less than 34 3-pointers so far in this season. The last few games that has been up. Is that a point of emphasis, or is this just game by game?
No, we want to shoot threes. We want to shoot good threes. We have to generate good threes. When we've played in transition and we've gotten paint touches in the half court, we've been able to generate threes. I think our willingness to draw the crowd, not play in the crowd, i.e. punish the overhelp. I think our willingness to pass out of that is improving. And I would expect us to, whatever our average is, to incrementally creep up as the season progresses.
Go ahead, last one.
Coach, you mentioned all the new experiences you're having, and tonight's going to be the first Lakers NBA Cup game where you're coaching. What do you think the intensity is going to be like? And are you keeping an eye on the game-to-game, what's happening in the group, and the point differential, and things of that nature with the cup?
I think it's our second cup game because we got
The home one, I mean.
Yeah, the first home one. Yep, first home one. Court's very bright. You guys haven't been out there yet. Staples is always, or Crypto is always bright, but the yellow court makes it worse. Not really. You know, just focusing on the regular season and just getting wins. We all want to participate in the knockout stage of the cup. For me, I'm excited because this is my first time coaching against Will Hardy, so I want to beat his ass.